Hello, folks, and welcome to the Outdoors Radio Show, The Bend. I am your host, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck, and as always, we love hearing from all of you, your comments, stories, ideas. You can get a hold of us anytime. Call or text 305-900-BEND. That is 305-900-2363, or you can always drop an email to bendradioshow@gmail.com. My producer, sound engineer, and co-host, Jeff Tigger Erhardt, is here with me again as always. And, we were just talking about this the other day, Tigger, and that is that it is maple syrup season. It's underway across a lot of the country. However, some areas such as northern Minnesota, where your sister is at, or northern Wisconsin, have had reports of having difficulties due to the extended winter, that there was too much snow on the ground to properly access the trees.
But she said that she still already got 5 gallons.
5 gallons?
Yeah, that's what I told you the other day.
Oh, I missed that.
Because remember I asked you, I said, do they put a spile? Is that what it's called, a spile?
Yes, it is.
And I said, yeah, she already got 5 gallons. Because remember, my mom was, see how we got to work all this out on the air? My mom was saying that she got already 5 gallons of maple syrup.
That is impressive. All right, and this is their first time ever doing so,
This
correct?
is their first time. I mean, so maybe it's maple syrup season. I have no idea.
Well, that I know that it is, and it usually wraps up towards the end of April. So that's kind of what I've been wondering is those of you that are tapping your trees, how is your production faring this year? Are you kind of seeing the same thing as maybe your sister did? Maybe it ran a little bit later in the season? Or do you have more maple syrup than you know what to deal with? Because I have an aunt that used to live in New Hampshire, and she would send maple syrup as a Christmas gift. It's kind of a sweet treat.
So how does that work? They just take that spile.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? It's called a spile, I think is what it's called. And they take that and they just stick that in the tree?
Well,
and it dribbles out?
Right. Well,
we need to get in the maple syrup business.
Except there's no maple trees where we are. That's the only problem. However, I have seen some systems set up, say like in the northern parts of Michigan, and it's actually pretty neat how they'll have like a track that goes from one tree to a next and into a barrel. So regardless, how is your production doing is what we're wondering. And if you have any extra maple syrup, I know where you can send some. Our spotlight today focuses on those first signs of spring, that it truly, really is here. The cherry blossom season is coming to an end in many parts of the country. The National Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C. is wrapping up this weekend, and I do have that event on my bucket list. I've been blessed to travel to, yes, many destinations. However, our capital is one that's yet to happen. But I will tell you this, the day I do, I will be making sure to do so in the springtime to see the cherry blossoms. Coast to coast across our great nation, there have been celebrations, festivals to kick off spring right around those blossoms. Next, while talking flowers, let's look at the poppies. Those are also in the spotlight. Outdoor enthusiasts are expecting an unprecedented abundance of poppy flowers after the historic series of winter storms this last year. South California's poppies began blossoming this week, and it is being said that, again, this year, the poppies are expected to be a super bloom with bright, fiery orange fields, beautifully filled, so full that it is expected to be able to see them from space. So, let's see those first springtime photos or hear about your outings. And of course, we want to hear about the fun or the fails that have happened. Those are sometimes the memories we remember the most. As always, call, text 305-900-2363 or send an email to bendradioshow@gmail.com. Our first news story takes us to Germany. An East Germany brewery has created the world's first powdered beer. Yep, you heard me right there. The beer was created to reduce CO2 emissions and the world's carbon footprint. The powdered beer is poured into a glass before being mixed with water. It immediately turns into a frothy drink, much like instant hot cocoa. All I can say is if this hits the U.S. market, I can completely see this being a hit, especially for backcountry campers and hikers, those attempting to really watch their packed weight. Well, no worries. I'll keep this one in my sights. Now, Japan. According to Daily Mail, as a result of bears venturing into more populated areas, a vending machine selling fresh bear meat has been installed. The bear meat is sourced by local hunters from wild bears. The 24-hour vending machine sells what is selling the meat right now for $16 per serving. The advertising is billing the bear meat as that it tastes clean, doesn't become tough, and can be enjoyed in a wide range of dishes from stew to steaks. Since debuting late last year, the vending machine has attracted a steady stream of customers. So we'll be watching to see if this really takes off as a trend over in Japan and then may lead to other countries as well. Now coming back here to the United States, snoring. Yes, there's a new study out and it's revealing that loud snoring can damage the brain. The researchers were over in London and they studied 27 snoring men and found that their sleep apnea cuts off blood flow to the brain and limits oxygen, as well as that loud snoring may rumble the brain during night, leading to early cognitive decline. So there, no more getting mad at your partner if they say you snore. Flight travel. For those of us that do quite a bit of flight travel, or those in the midst of booking your upcoming summer trips, or even already getting on the ball and maybe booking your fall excursions, well, the delays we've seen this winter and spring do not seem to be improving. The FAA is predicting 45% more delays if more air travel traffic controllers aren't hired. So I'm going to throw out this tip, and this is what I have been doing for this last year because of these delays, and sometimes we are being sent to other destinations or connecting flights in order to make our entire trip happen. I am working very hard whenever I do travel to take everything on board with me. I know it involves packing a lot lighter, a lot smarter, but believe me, the stress relieved is worth all of it. Now, Oklahoma. Fox News reports that Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, the ODWC, wants anglers to know that there's an invasive carp species that needs to be removed from state waters. The end of last month, officials announced that they have asked Oklahoma-based fishing guides to remove big head carp from the state's Grand Lake system, which is located in the northeastern part of Oklahoma within the Ozark Mountain Range. The Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation highlighted two fishermen earlier this spring as an example, noting that these fishermen had caught a 63-plus pound big head carp from the Grand Lake system. Officials also had this comment: if you find a big head carp in the Grand Lake system, do not return it back into the water. A little back history for y'all. For those unfamiliar with this species, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's National Invasive Species Information Center, big head carp are a freshwater species native to East Asia. The species was imported for aquaculture and for phytoplankton control and is considered an invasive species in American waters. That's a wrap on the news for now. When we come back, we share who the winner is of our Kent Rollins Comfort Food the Cowboy Way cookbook giveaway. We talk turkey, have more stories you only hear here. And let's be real, the way we roll here, you really never know what's coming around the bend.
OverTheEdgeOutdoors.org, a nonprofit providing veterans and active service members with opportunities to hunt and fish at no cost to them. For more information or to donate, check out OverTheEdgeOutdoors.org.
Again, that's OverTheEdgeOutdoors.org. Waterfowl, turkey, deer, ToxicCalls.com offers all of the various styles of calls needed to take your hunt to the next level when you create quite simply the most real sound yet. American made to boot. Order today, ToxicCalls.com. This is Beck. First, I appreciate all of you for listening and making The Bend part of your week. Many of you have asked, how do I catch past episodes? The answer is super easy. Head to thebendshow.com and click on the shows tab. There you can listen to every episode all the way back to episode 1. Podcasters, head to your favorite podcasting app and search The Bend. You'll find us. Be sure to follow and subscribe and never miss another episode again.
The world-famous Miles City Bucking Horse Sale for 2023 starts with horse racing. 6 days with pari-mutuel wagering, May 6th and 7th on Derby days, coinciding with the Kentucky Derby. That'll be shown live in Miles City. Mother's Day is also special with moms free to the races, and more races added May 19th through the 21st. The world-famous Miles City Bucking Horse Sale. For schedule and tickets, go online, buckinghorsesale.com.
Welcome back to the Outdoors Radio Show, The Bend. I am your host, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck, and joining me sitting shotgun is Jeff Tigger Erhardt. Now, last week, we had quite the treat. Kent Rollins, the cowboy cook himself, Dutch oven master, famously known for being on TV as well as having millions of followers on YouTube, joined last week's show. Now, Tigger, you had a wonderful time visiting with Kent Rollins, talking cowboy cooking to even some tips.
You know, there's a million different things that a person could take away from Kent Rollins, because the man is a master and a genius when it comes to the Dutch oven, cast iron. But I guess kind of my biggest takeaways from everything that he teaches is to not be afraid to try to cook, especially when it comes to the cast irons and the Dutch ovens. If you haven't done it, you need to try it because the food is spectacular in it. But don't be afraid. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Probably in the tip number 2 specifically is to make sure you're getting everything hot enough. Because it takes a while to get that Dutch. I mean, those Dutch ovens are thick, right? Cast irons are thick, so it takes a while to get everything kind of heated up. So those are always kind of my 2 big takeaways that Kent has to remind me of all the time. Don't be afraid.
Well,
throw it in there and cook it.
Just as a little tease, in case you didn't hear his episode, one thing I did take away from what you and Kent were visiting about was how a lot of times the ingredients he uses and teaches you to use, as well as you do the same thing. You're a phenomenal cook as well with the Dutch oven, but both of you have it very well figured out in using what you already have in your freezers, in your cupboards, in your pantries, and making something spectacular.
And something nutritious, too. I mean, that's the big thing, to not have processed food.
So there you have it. So for those of you that missed that episode, be sure to take a listen on your favorite podcasting app. And then if you have questions for us to ask Kent Rollins, be sure to send them our way. Remember, you can always call, text 305-900-2363 or email bendradioshow@gmail.com. Now, as a result of having Kent Rollins on the show, we ended up having a little contest last week, and we had a contest where if the first person to call in and correctly tell us where Kent Rollins hails from, where he was born, would receive a copy of his latest hot off-the-press new cookbook, Comfort Food the Cowboy Way, by Kent and his bride, Shannon Rollins. Let's play our winner's message.
Hi there, Beck. This is Wanda Bonningston from South Dakota, and I think Kent is from Hollis, Oklahoma. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Congratulations, Wanda Bonningston from Blunt, South Dakota. Yes, Hollis, Oklahoma was the correct answer and is where Kent Rollins hails from. And I hope you enjoy your autographed copy of their latest book by Kent and Shannon Rollins called Comfort Food the Cowboy Way. And if you're interested in purchasing a copy of the book for yourself, you can visit kentrollins.com or it can be found on Amazon.
Now, Kent and Shannon could be coming to a city near you on his book tour this year. He is coming to Austin, Houston, Dallas, Charleston, South Carolina, Yukon, Oklahoma, Tulsa, and Lebanon, Missouri. And if you get the opportunity to go and meet Kent and Shannon in public, I would say do so. They are by far some of the nicest people that I have ever met. And he's one of those individuals where if he meets you once, he will remember you. He will remember your face. He will remember your name. He will remember what you talked about. Doesn't matter what recipe, he's got it.
Now, let's talk turkeys. Almost everywhere across the country, turkey season is on its way. And I got to say, I'm already enjoying seeing some of the turkeys, or I should say the toms, that have been harvested. Included, I got to give a shout out to my girlfriend, Renee Ernest. She's out on the East Coast, and she actually took one just the other day with her bow, and it had 7 beards. I had never seen one with that many beards.
I'm not an avid turkey hunter, but I I was jazzed by the pictures. Seeing the pictures made me want to be a turkey hunter. That's the problem with a lot of this stuff. You get pictures from all over the country, and I want to be a gator hunter, and I want to be a turkey hunter, and I want to do all of this. So, yeah, that was awesome stuff from Renee.
And by the way, I just want to clarify, because if you were like me, when she first said, hey, Beck, this Tom has 7 beards, I was at first going, wait, you mean the beard is 7 inches long? I thought she misspoke. Then, no, she sent me a picture. And yes, there was one very long beard, but then there were absolutely 6 more little tiny beards right behind it. So I thought that one was pretty cool. And I'm going to throw this out to you. As you're hunting and harvesting your spring turkeys this year, be sure to be tagging us on your social media. We want to be able to see what you're doing out there. And you can do that by tagging us at The Bend Show. As well as, we were out ourselves driving the other day, Tigger and I, and we couldn't get over. It was kind of humorous.
Are you telling the hunting story?
Yes, it was. I felt bad for these guys, okay? It was one of those situations. We'll just set it up. We were driving down a gravel road, and we
had Mom in the back seat, so
yes.
She wanted to see all the turkeys. We had to slow down, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we came across a flock of turkeys that had just crossed the road and into a neighbor's property that was posted, and there were quite a few toms in this flock.
That was a little odd to see that many toms together.
Yes.
I thought that was a little odd.
Quite a few more toms than there were hens in this flock that we noticed. Well, after we had a good glance at them, we took off cruising up the road, and we're talking not even a quarter mile up the hill. I felt bad for these bow hunters. They were just trying to sneak into their blinds and then crossing through the fence, and we were kind of giggling to ourselves at the same time. Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, they could literally see them down there, and they were just kind of shaking their heads. But so goes hunting, right?
Mm-hmm. Got to be at the right place at the right time. Now, to keep going on this, I'm almost calling this our own little field update from where we are at. As we continued on with our drives that Sunday, which was back on Easter Sunday, and as Tigger said, his folks were with us, we saw a lot of wildlife out on the move, particularly mule deer. And I think your mom even made the comment that was the most mule deer she had ever seen in one spot.
Well, I think we saw close to 100 in two different mobs. It was something like 100.
Mm-hmm,
but there's something about, even though we live in deer country, of course, we see turkeys all the time and pheasants and deer. Isn't there still just something about when you are, because they're wild maybe? It's different than seeing the cows in the pasture. I mean, they're wild. It's just still something exciting about it, regardless how many times you see these critters.
I couldn't agree more. It's appreciation for what is out there and all around us. And for us, especially after a hard winter as we've had, we were very encouraged to see the population still there. And, I'm going to throw this out to you as you're making your spring plans and you're getting out and about. And what I wanted to make a note of is that, as we said, Tigger's folks were with us, and it dawned on us, this is something we all need to do more with our loved ones or our friends, especially those elderly people. Instead of just going maybe and visiting mom and dad or visiting grandpa and grandma, actually think about this. Taking that time, packing a lunch. Make that bologna sandwich. You know what? It'll take your grandpa back to another time, and he'll probably tell you a story you never heard about. But go and hit those back roads and check out the wildlife that's going on in your area.
They've always got stories.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing. Even like when we had mom and dad, I always say mom and dad, like they're everybody's mom and dad, right? We threw them in the back seat, and I tell you what, they just had a great time reminiscing of the story, saying, remember when you were a kid?
Yes.
Remember when that deer did this or that deer did that? It's all about time, and when you get to spend it with loved ones, it's that much better.
More at the Bend after this.
Hey guys and gals, this is John Arman with Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV travels the back roads to the backwaters in pursuit of the ultimate adventure in hunting and fishing. Join Team UOA every week for exciting action in the crosshairs of the outdoors. Catch Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and make sure to follow Team UOA on Facebook and Instagram to share in the ultimate outdoor adventure.
The hunt is planned, the guide is booked, the trip is blocked off in the calendar, but one huge detail remains, preserving that trophy, creating a memory that will last a lifetime. Little Rack Taxidermy has that fast, friendly service to fulfill your taxidermy in a timely, professional manner. Reach out to Heather with Little Rack Taxidermy through Facebook at Little Rack Taxidermy or send an email to heatherjoe23@hotmail.com. Little Rack Taxidermy, bringing back the natural look.
Shooting ducks, skinning bucks, I'm a hunting princess in a pickup truck.
The world-famous Miles City Bucking Horse Sale for 2023 features one of the largest one-day match bronc ridings in the world. Sunday, May 21st at the Fairgrounds, a PRCA-sanctioned event with 32 of the best bronc riders in the world riding for a $50,000 purse. Sunday, May 21st to the Bucking Horse Sale weekend, pari-mutuel wagering also available. Find the schedule and tickets online, buckinghorsesale.com.
Welcome back to the Outdoors Radio Show, The Bend. I am your host, Rebecca Wanner, and I have a little bit more of some feel-good type news for you all. Over Easter weekend, a hospital in Anchorage, Alaska had some unexpected excitement. A moose walking by the hospital happened to trigger the automatic doors to the building and caused them to open, in which, yes, the moose entered and enjoyed eating and feasting on the plants in the hospital foyer. Eventually, keeping the doors open, the moose was coaxed back out of the facility without any major damages. Lucky, as you know, they can get quite aggressive. The hospital said that this isn't the first time, actually, and they have even had bears come through those doors as well. Now, brides and grooms to be, you're looking for a less stress and more memorable wedding experience? How about this one? If you happen to be in Vegas right now, Oscar Mayer is marrying people in their Wienermobile outside the famous Little White Chapel. For some reason, I just find this hilarious and yet wrong in so many ways, but it is funny. And get this, I foresee others following that ride across America on its U.S. tour, hoping that Oscar Mayer Wienermobile might come near a city near you. There you go. That might be what you do to make your event a little bit more memorable. Have some housekeeping for you. Dates to mark on the calendar. Quick reminder, tax day is, yes, Tuesday, April 18th. And the Federal Trade Commission wants you to know about an IRS scam. The scam artists are emailing, calling, and texting people in order to get one's personal information for financial gain. The Federal Tax Commission says if the IRS contacts you, they're never going to contact you first via email or telephone. They're going to contact you in writing as though in a letter. Now, next one, April 22nd kicks off the first day of National Park Week. And as a result, Saturday, April 22nd will be a free day at all National Park Service sites that charge an entrance fee. The National Park System is offering free admission to everyone to come out and enjoy our beautiful country. Depending on the park, though, you may want to see and double check, such as Rocky Mountain National Park, as an example, if you may need to register prior to making that drive. But again, that's this coming Saturday, April 22nd, a free admission to the national parks. Now, do you love rodeo action? Make plans now. May 18th through the 21st will be the world-famous Bucking Horse Sale in Miles City, Montana. Top-notch rodeo action, a trade show, country artist Mitchell Tenpenny kicking it off. This 4-day event is full of action, and it wraps with the world's biggest one-day PRCA match bronc ride. That's May 18th through the 21st, Miles City, Montana. And that is all, folks. We're going to call this show wrapped. Thank you to my producer, sound engineer, co-host Jeff Tigger Erhardt. A big congratulations again to listener Wanda Buckinson, our winner of the Kent Rollins' newest cookbook, Comfort Food, The Cowboy Way. Be sure to watch Kent Rollins' Cowboy Cooking channel on YouTube. And remember, we sure do enjoy hearing how all parts of the country are doing. So please, we invite you to call or text in your area's field reports. That number again is 305-900 900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. And as always, as you're making those memories and posting your pictures on social media, be sure to be tagging us at The Ben Show. We love hearing and sharing your life with you on or off the trail. If you missed part of this episode or you want to hear past shows, you can find them all on the website, thebendshow.com, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. If you're looking to change things up for your next event, conference, or awards banquet, think about having us. Tigger and Beck entertain your crowd. We are PRCA Pro Rodeo card holders, where Tigger is a pro rodeo announcer, and we are PRCA music directors. From MCs to event headliners, public speakers, to acting as a host couple, let us make your gathering extra special. From ranching, cattle, hunting, fishing, camping, and rodeo, plus so much more, including, did you know that Tigger is also an auctioneer? Think about trying to spice up your next upcoming fishing tournament. How about you have us, Tigger and Beck, auction off a fishing Calcutta to add to the excitement? Regardless the crowd, we have the stories to share with the laughs to be had. Thank you to our partners, Ditelli Outdoors, About You Photography, Buckstorm, Little Rack Taxidermy, Mickey's Mustard, ToxicCalls.com, Wabalo Creek Outfitters, Atlas Tracks, RFD TV, and the Cowboy Channel. Finally, a big thanks to all of you listeners out there that came along, and whether you're coming or going today, stay with us as we ranch it up. And remember to keep up with me, Beck, all week long by following The Bend on Facebook and on Instagram at The Bend Show. This is Rebecca Wanner. Catch Beck if you can next week on The Bend.